everybody, and a wonderful welcome to the start of another gorgeous new week. I'm feeling full of energy just to make a nice change, and because today I was thinking I really would love to share with you a little bit about play therapy, and everything I do is a little bit playful because I think you engage the kids more that way and actually engage each other as adults. We should always be childlike. We should never lose that. Never lose that. Not childish, although that's fine too sometimes, but childlike. Keep open to that wonderment about life and that energy and always wanting to learn new things. But as I'm always saying, 80% of communication isn't speech. And sometimes I find, I don't know about you, but I find that sometimes words can be a big mask, and children very, very quickly learn to kind of give you the answers they think you want to hear, or they try and second guess what you're getting at. And nobody should be made to feel grilled. I hope no child who's ever come into my therapy chalet, or who I've met in a school or anywhere else I've ever been, would ever feel like that with me, because to me it's about trust. But if you just think about us adults in normal life, I really hate that word, I'm struggling with it today. How many times have you passed somebody and said, "How are you?" And they just say fine? That's another word that should be banned. Fine, nice, normal, all of those should all be banned. And it doesn't really tell you an awful lot, does it? Whereas through play, and it's been proven, researched since the early 20th century. How about that? It's been researched since then and proven to have the most incredible neuroscientific. Now that's a word I really love. I can't believe it. I never thought 15-year-old me, who made my science teacher cry because I was so terrible, would ever think neuroscience would be one of my favourite words. But there you go. As I've learned through being playful with it, okay? Now I love it. Anyway, back to business. Back to the core of this. Play therapy. I absolutely adore it, because with 80% of communication not being speech, and engaging the children in a really accessible range of beautiful activities that they're in control of. As I say to you in all my videos, take these ideas, honestly take them. That's what I'm doing this for, is just to share from my heart to all of you. I'm whacking the flowers behind me. And make it your own, or more importantly, get the children to make it their own. Take that base idea and grow from it. I never stick to rules. And the kids need to own their games, own their own language, own their own stories. It's literally as strong as that. And leading researchers who have been really looking into this right up to the present day are people like Schaufman, Reddy. There's so many people who have really looked into the benefits of play therapy. And some of the really huge proven benefits of it on a neuroscientific level are it's had a significant positive impact on particularly children with ADHD, ADD, pathological demand avoidance, and also cared for children, i.e. in children's homes, foster care, who are way more, their cortisol levels, their stress levels are way higher, and who are often, if they're going through mainstream school, not always very supported. So play therapy is actually a gigantic, massive rocket boost on benefits to the classroom. But, oh my God, you're not going to believe this bit, also the workplace. Because I worked out, I was recording my online Rainbow Kids instructor course at the weekend, and I was thinking, what we're actually doing through play therapy, we are growing a positive mindset. We're coaching those positive mindsets with skills that will bridge that gap, like a rainbow, from school to the workplace, and also in the government's massive disparity, and yes, I am having a small rant, between their mental health policies and their education policies. Now, Boris, darling, I've been asking you many times to come and visit me in my therapy chalet, otherwise I'm going to have to come to Downing Street and just give you a little massage and do a few games like this, because we need to sort this out for our children, even our neurotypical children. If there's a battle, Boris, between the cognitive and the emotional, The emotional will win out. And our emotional brains are inside our cognitive brains. So it's not well-being, Boris, it's neuroscience, okay? So this is why we need to have that conversation. And you're very welcome. I've always got cake in my therapy shadow. Just let me know if you've got any allergies. So back to play therapy. Even Plato, Aristotle knew how important it was. Einstein, you know, the importance of imagination. The biggest learning is done through imagination. And that's what I encourage in all the children and young adults, wherever I go and work. And that's everywhere. I get everywhere. You know, I'm invading hospices, children's homes. I work with adoption agencies. I've gone into hospitals, mainstream schools, specialist centres. I get everywhere. Honestly, I'm like a rash. So the point of this all is play therapy. Now, everything I do is very playful, but it's absolutely firing my children. I've got thousands, by the way, not just 4. It fires all my children up on emotional intelligence, social intelligence, social skills, and cognitively, and all of this feeds into the classroom. And currently, and this is proven, currently the mindset of education is 50 years behind the workplace. I know I'm waffling on, but this is really important, this is really exciting stuff. In the workplace, for instance, I actually go in and work with adults, and we do team building days for organisations, you know, and in schools, inset days, all this sort of thing. And yet, with our children, that positive mindset is non-existent. That team building is non-existent. So this is where else Rainbow Kids comes in, and these therapies that I'm freely sharing with you, because not only does it bridge the gap and support the curriculum, so it bridges that gap between mental health policies and education policies, which is why the Children's University gave me my lovely award. And you know, I haven't framed up any of my qualifications. We're not going to go there. Degrees, whatever. I have not framed up any of those. Sorry, Jenga. But I have framed up that one. I framed up that one, and an adoption certificate from one of the schools I went to who adopted me as their fairy godmother. Because I think if I'm voted for something by children, then I'll frame it. Otherwise, it just goes in a boring old box file in the cupboard behind me. So back to play therapy. Yes. Now it feeds into. So if a child is being engaged and boosted with self-esteem, confidence, emotional intelligence, cognitive intelligence, social intelligence, they're learning to think outside the box, problem solve, self-regulate, negotiate, see every mistake as, instead of a mistake, a learning opportunity, being able to work independently, but also not just as part of a team, but to build your team. This is, you know what this is? You know what I'm coming to, don't you? Skills for the workplace. And they say now that IQ will get you the job, but EQ and SQ, emotional and social intelligence, will get you the promotion. So you may laugh at me being this crazy little Blue Peter woman, and I'm not very big, and I'm bursting with all these ideas, and I never stop, and my brain's always chugging, and you can probably hear it over in Australia, but there is absolute neuroscience behind it. Behind the laughter, behind the fun, there is absolute proven neuroscientific research. Proven, which is why I love it. And I wish I could have been taught science in this way. It would have been so much fun. So we are literally we're bridging that gap that school hasn't got time, and that's not the school's fault. Again, Boris, please, darling, I keep asking you, come and talk to me, because then by letting children learn in ways like this, even if it was just 5 minutes after registration, 5 minutes after lunch, and 5 minutes at the end of the day, the difference to the classroom would be enormous. Enormous. So huge. And not only that, it would grow those life skills, because that's what they are. They're not just emotionally and socially intelligent skills, they're life skills. And the kids can then take those into the workplace and be able to really grow. It's also proven with ADHD, pathological demand avoidance, ADD, autism spectrum, that children, it has helped them positively. There's been a 74% marked positive difference in behaviour in the classroom. Now, how wonderful is that? Less stress on the teachers, less stress on the other kids learning, less interrupted learning, less stress on the children who are struggling. So play therapy it's just a wonderful way for not just kids with different abilities to be included and grown to their full potential, because if we grow the emotional and social potential, we then hit our cognitive potential, and oh my god, I can't stop talking today, I've got verbal diarrhea. It also, you won't believe this, it actually grows the grey matter in the hippocampus, which is to do with memory and learning. Oh my god, I nearly forgot that bit. And it shrinks the grey matter around the amygdala, fight or flight, and our emotional responses, particularly to fear, our emotional brains. So we're actually reducing the anxiety. This is why it's neuroscientifically proven. They've done neuroimaging to prove this. So it reduces that fear, makes you more resilient to stress, more able to cope and function, boosts you in self-esteem, and it's just helping your entire brain on every level fire on all cylinders. My introductions are always massive, aren't they? I could honestly talk for years about all this. I love it. I just thought I'd mention that in case, you know, any of you had missed it. So there's different ways, and I've shared with you before. These are my own inventions because I am a bit nuts. So, as you know about the gingerbread trail from a previous video, I'll let you look that up for yourselves rather than make you chase me all over the garden while I pick up gingerbread people and do breathing exercises and colour meditations, and I weave the whole lot in. Yoga, story massage, storytelling, games, positive mind coaching games. I weave it all in a playful way. And do you know something? I share with the kids what it's actually doing for their brains. I actually do, in an age-related way, because who knows, you could be growing a budding scientist in the future. You just don't know, do you? Not all gifts are grown within the four walls of a classroom, Boris. And then you could do things like, and these are freely available on the internet, things like feelings hopscotch, which I've demonstrated, M&M's feelings games, Skittles games. You know, that there are so many resources that do not even need to cost the schools money. I even went out to my local craft shop and I bought these gigantic rabbit feet. Now, don't laugh. It's not very nice. You mustn't laugh. This was for my little ones, my little tiny children, little toddlers. And on the back of these, I've written, where do you feel happiness? If joy, if excitement was a story massage stroke, what would it be? And they'll massage each other, they'll put it into their own invented story massage on each other's back, a little stroke that's not necessarily one of mine or one of Mary Atkinson's. It might be one they've made up themselves, because every child should own the therapy, progress within it, and make it their own. You're never just setting things out for them and then walking around while they do it. They have that at school. They don't have that in Rainbow Kids. I'm talking ever such a lot. I'm going to need a glass of water in a minute. The other thing, and I've demonstrated it before, and it was on a video I made before the YouTube launch, which I have uploaded now onto here. And it was when I invited the Minister of Education and Boris over for tea. That was my first invitation. I'm running out of patience. And we did a little game of feelings Jenga. And this is getting children very in touch with problem solving, self-esteem, feeling valued. All the happy hormones and coping chemicals are absolutely having a rave, not even just a party. And all the brain is flooded with that confidence, that thinking outside the box, exploring. We should never stop exploring. What does this one say? Who can you talk to when you feel sad? Myself, usually, in the car, and I just pretend I'm on Bluetooth. No, I'm only joking. It's always good to have a very good friend, and I'm very blessed because I have that, and a beautiful, beautiful family. I have my lovely kids, so that's really nice. And as they get older, they become your friends, you know. It's nice. I probably still embarrass the living daylights out of them, but you know, I'm still their friend. Sometimes I make mistakes, but how can I learn from them? So do you see what I mean? You're really, in this playful way, engaging the kids into thinking, you know, there's not failure. It's a learning opportunity, and it really, really is. And sometimes as adults, if a child doesn't quite give us the answer we would expect, maybe we've got something to learn. So I never say to a child, well, you've got that wrong. You don't destroy someone like that. I just say, that actually wasn't what I was looking for, but what an interesting way of looking at it. It's all your language around how you address things. So I don't know if that's helpful, but that's just a little tip. Oh, incidentally, with these bunny rabbit feet, what I also did, because play therapy also involves motor skills, as well as cognitive, emotional and mental skills. I'm on a roll this morning, I tell you. When I lay them out, I'll do 2 that way, and then the next 2 that way, so that the children can roll dice and then count and then jump, and that helps them with their gross motor skills. And sometimes I'll put fine and gross motor skills to do on the back of here. Let me see if I can find one. I'll pretend to use a pair of scissors. You know, things like pick something up with a pair of tongs. This all helps. And when you exercise the hands, you're exercising the brain. Oh my God, I'm going to explode your screens. I'm so excitable. I don't know how I'm going to make it to Friday. I might explode by then. You can also put them onto little lolly sticks, you know. So let's do a couple from here. And I got the kids to write these. I wrote the first 3 or 4, and then the kids wrote all of them from all my sessions. So all the children were mixing ideas. I take this into children's homes. I take it in for teenagers, adolescents, younger children. You just make it all age related. So what have I got here? What would you do if you saw someone being bullied? What does it feel like to not feel valued? What does safety feel like? What does it feel like when you help someone make an idea? What does teamwork feel like? What does pride feel like? So it's really, and everybody talks about it, not just the person with the stick, because otherwise, you know, it's a bit like being interrogated, isn't it? And if it was something a little bit sensitive, or someone suddenly dried up and didn't quite know how to answer it, if we all just have a natural conversation, it's a pot of conversation starters. If we all just jump in and say our own experiences, me as well, and I make them laugh. I really make them laugh because I've got 1 or 2 embarrassing stories to tell. And, you know, it becomes a conversation then, and everybody says, oh yes, and this happened to me, and that happened to me. And then the person with the stick can join in if they want. You know, everything is an invitation. No child is ever made to feel they're doing something for me. They're doing it for them, and if they want to. And always, 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 you meet the child where they are at. I say this a lot, but honestly, all my laughing aside, that I never laugh at. I always, always meet every child where they are at. And that's an honour, that's an invitation from them to me. And I love that. I do get a bit emotional. I try not to show it. So then I've got older ones. I'll give you a few examples. We made a little teeny pot. We decorated it with different colour paper. I shouldn't put myself on the spot like this. I should have carefully rehearsed answers. Right, where are we? Across which continent would you want to take a train ride? Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America or South America? But I want to go to them all. So I'm greedy. Okay, if I had to choose right now, I'd really like to get back to my Italian roots. I've not been there for so long. And to show my children some of their heritage and go back and go around France again like I did when I did my French degree. And yeah, oh, I would. But then I'd have to queue up the others on my bucket list. Okay. If you could get anything back that you lost or broke, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be a thing. It could be a feeling. Lost or broke, what would it be? I don't know. You've got me there. I try not to regret anything. I've never broken anybody's trust, at least I don't think I have. Anything back that you lost or broke, what would it be? I wish when my son with autism was going through mainstream and I was really learning on that path with him at the same time as growing all this from it, I wish I'd known then what I know now, because the thing I would have stopped from breaking would have been his heart. Oh, I go from one extreme to the other, and I am part Italian. But what a heartbreaking journey that was. But we're using it for the good now. And he's doing his doctorate. All you teachers who wrote him off. Okay, this is why else we need a little chat, Boris. Okay, I need to come and give little trainings in Downing Street. Last one, because this video is going to be gigantic. If you could build a tunnel to any one place, where would your tunnel go? To you, Boris. I'd come to Downing Street. Take a deep breath, get your headache pills ready, and I'll bring the cake.